Jughead? Don't go rubbing it in. I'll deal with that business as soon as I get out of here. One more chance. I'll count down my top 5 favorite snowy horror reads. Hello. So yeah, I guess I'm trapped in here until I do this video. So I guess we'll have to do this. Yes, of course. All jokes aside, yeah, it's blizzarding where I'm at. So I was like, oh, it's April and there's a blizzard outside. Well, welcome to Canada, I guess. Welcome to Canada. It's a glorious place. Snow all the time. So I was like, well, I'm going stir crazy because the snow will not stop and it's just piling up outside. So I thought, hey, this would be a great time to talk about my very favorite and beloved winter horror reads. So I'm going to do a top 5 here. So I'm going to actually start with 2 novellas at the bottom there. Mainly just because these both are really good stories and I liked them a lot. But I thought that, I'll put 2 novellas in there just to equal, quote unquote, a full novel. Also, it's just a very easy way to to sneakily add 6 instead of 5 because that's who I am. So first off, for that number 5 spot, I'm going to put John W. Campbell's Who Goes There, and I'm also going to put The Visitor by Sergio Gomez on there. The Visitor is quite new, so that was like a really nice little novella. That one is specifically set during Christmas. This right now, as you can see before me, this is the novelization for The Thing, which is the John Carpenter movie that's a remake of The Thing from Another World, which is based on the John W. Campbell story. So I just thought I would have it here for visual reference. So both of those are really great stories, and they really do set a time and place really well, and they both involve alien visitors from another world wreaking havoc. Both are pretty quick read. I know for a fact I read all of The Visitor in like one night, and then Who Goes There, I actually have read Frozen Hell, the expanded version of Who Goes There, which adds a few more chapters to that early part of the story. And and I think even the expanded version was only 5 hours in an audiobook format, which means you could get through that in no time flat. So those 2 are probably the ones that I would definitely put as two great novellas that you can get through in no time. Like I said, The Visitor is definitely something you want to read during Christmas, because it's all about like a bunch of people who get stranded over the Christmas break at like I believe it's like an old diner / gas station, and then they all get brutally murdered by a alien visitor. And they don't all get brutally murdered, because that would be a spoiler for the entire story, but some of them do, so it's good. And yeah, so both of those are really great stories. Number 4, I'm going to do, this is one of the only ones in this list that I don't actually own. That's Bracken McLeod's Stranded. This is another newer novel. Stranded is a story all about this Arctic, this Arctic whaling ship that gets like frozen in a very mysterious, very unusual storm. And you, at first, like, what I thought going in, I thought, oh, this is going to basically be like another version of The Thing. And no, it definitely does get all of the elements, which is like the way that you would feel about the thing from the thing, about like isolation, brutal weather, howling winds. You really feel cold reading this one, and it sticks with you in your bones. It's funny because it has a lot in common with, I would say, Dan Simmons' The Terror. But Dan Simmons himself is kind of a dumbass. So I don't really want to. But The Terror is quite good. The Terror is quite good. I think it's probably Terror, probably my runner up of this list. That's a really good book. And I read that book when I was traveling back and forth to work. And when I used to work at like a place that was like an hour away, and I used to walk even in like -40 weather. And let me tell you, listening to the audiobook of The Terror when you're doing that is very, very good and thematic for reading. But yeah, so like I said, The Terror is not on here, but Stranded is by Jack Bracken McLeod. And I don't really want to go into too much in this one because it's got a lot of twists and turns, and I really felt like it earned all of those. And I think that the overall story they were trying to tell is very emotional and very creepy and pretty outstanding by the end of it. I know some people don't like the twist, so I guess just going in, no, there's a twist. You might like it, you might not, but you definitely will feel cold when you read Stranded by Bracken McLeod. And now I'm getting on to the top 3. I am going to talk about Killer by Peter Tonkin. This is amazing. This book is so good. This one is featured in Paperbacks from Hell, which is why people get really like excited if you ever watch a book haul and someone finds it. This is not the cover that you would be used to. There's a different cover. This is actually a UK version. I just imported the UK version because it was cheaper than getting the other version online. Nowadays you can find the OG copy of Killer pretty easily, but yeah. So this is basically a story about a group of people who get stranded on an iceberg after a plane crash, and they are on this huge ice floe. So they land on this iceberg that's like completely cut off from the world, and there is a evil killer whale who's leading a pack of other whales. And the reason why the whale is a killer whale is because he was a government experiment. The government trained this whale to kill, and then the whale escaped, and then he's wreaking havoc throughout the Arctic. It is amazing. It's so good. You feel their isolation. You feel how close the space is that they're stuck in. And as they go on, there are a whole bunch of things that kind of like warp this area of this ice floe and iceberg, and it changes throughout the book, and it's like an environment that like expands and contracts, and like there's all these very, very interesting things that they do with this particular setting. And I loved all the characters in this, even the characters that you hate. You love them because you know they're about to be eaten by a big old killer whale. You feel the heat, the desperation, everything that you want, or at least everything that I would want from a story, like an animal attack story set in the Arctic, is there. And it's amazing. There is a scene where a group of walruses like have a battle with this killer whale group, and it is written like it's like Lord of the Rings. Like, I swear to God, it's like amazing. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, if you're one of those people who are like, I like scientifically accurate whales, my name's Herman Melville, then you won't like this, because this is not focused on that. This is just very fun and very exciting, and like also the horror is really good. All these little character beats. It's just really man versus the elements versus killer whale. And it's brilliant. There is another book of the similar vein, Orca by Arthur Herzog. That book sucks. Orca by Arthur Herzog sucks. It's a bad book. I don't like it. I'm really mad about that book because stupid Quentin Tarantino went on like he was on a national talk show, a night talk show, praising his terrible movie Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I won't take back any of those things. I hate the man. He was trying to tell everyone that they need to read Orca by Arthur Herzog because it's a great book. And I'm like, you're dumb. You're wrong. Stop talking about Orca by Arthur Herzog. It's a terrible book. It's bad. It's bad. Everyone should read Killer by Peter Tonkin. It's great. It's great. If you own a copy of Orca by Arthur Herzog, just burn it. It's terrible. It's a bad book. Sorry, I get really, really angry about that book. I don't like it. But I do love Killer by Peter Tonkin. It's great. This is what you should read. Never read Orca. It's just, if you own a copy of Orca, destroy it right now. Anyways, that was my rant. Next up, number 2, Black Christmas by Thomas Altman. This is a great mystery. This is a story that it's like a mystery that's so well told and so well realized that I will revisit this even though I know the ending. This is really good. This is another one that appeared in Paperbacks from Hell. As such, it's pretty hard to find. I have a kind of a rattier version of it, and this was like the cheapest version I was able to find. I really want like a good copy of this because I'm going to read it again and again and again because I really, really like this. It sets up a time and place so well. It's at this small little town that is right before Christmas, gets bombarded by this huge blizzard, and this blizzard is even more harrowing because there's a serial killer on the loose killing people. And it's basically a slasher movie. Like, it reads like a slasher movie. Now, I know there's one of the greatest slasher movies of all time is also called Black Christmas. This is not related to that. There is a novelization of Black Christmas that was made in conjunction with that film. That was written by Lee Hayes. That's, like, impossible to find. Like, if you find that, like, you should praise the heavens because that's very hard to find. But this is not related to that. This is just another story with the same title, and I think it's like right up there with the movie Black Christmas because I love this. I found the entire story really captivating. The characters are great. It's tense, it's brutal, it's gruesome. Like, it's everything you want from a slasher, everything you want from a mystery. Black Christmas is it. I don't want to talk too much more about it because, again, it's one of those things where I don't want to do spoilers on a book like this. It's very much worth your time, though. And number 1, I mean, if you're paying attention to the intro, it's going to be The Shining by Stephen King. This is a shiny version of The Shining, which is an early paperback edition. But it's not the only version of The Shining I have. No, I also own a yellow movie tie-in version of The Shining, where you can remember all of the great scenes from that movie that I so terribly parodied at the start of this book. This is not a novelization. This is a movie tie-in version. And this is actually a pretty great-looking movie tie-in version. But that's not all. Yes, I own a third version of The Shining. And that is a book club edition of this amazing, the amazing original hardcover painting that was released with this book. I love The Shining. I mean, I don't know what else to say about The Shining that hasn't been said. I do think that the book is much better than the movie. I don't hate the movie. The movie's great. Like, the movie's very scary, very well made. But the book is a very nuanced portrayal of alcoholism and the struggles with addiction. And it's a very personal novel to King. And one of the things about the movie is, like, the Stanley Kubrick version is completely not personal. Like, it's a very impersonal film, and that's because that is what Stanley Kubrick is. He's very much like a dispassionate filmmaker, and you can definitely feel that in his version of The Shining. And the book is just so richly realized with characters that are super deep. Like, I think Jack Torrance in the book is one of the best characters King has ever written. There is a layeredness to him that is just completely absent in the movie. And there's also context for everything, all the ghosts and everything like that. And the context, it does not take away from the scares. It actually enhances the scares. You know the story behind the man in the dog costume, and it's scary, and it's disturbing, and it's like, it really makes you think about just what would it be like to just be trapped in a certain time period forever in your life. And Wendy is also great in the book. She's a lot more written a lot more strongly. another thing that I don't like about the movie is that it's a story about abuse that was put to screen with a lot of abuse. Stanley Kubrick was an asshole to Shelley Duvall on set, like a complete monster. And it's like, well, this is a story about how abuse is bad, and to make that story, you had to be an abusive prick. That goes against the core tenets of The Shining. Also in the book, one of the things about the book is Dick Hallorann is 70s king writing a black character. It's not the best in terms of the dialogue, but you can tell he's like trying, and it's still better than the movie, because in the movie, yeah, he just gets offed like super quickly, and in the book, it's not like that. There's more to Dick Hallorann in the book. He gets chapters to himself. It's not a joke. Like in the Stanley Kubrick version, his appearance and his thing kind of has this darkly humorous element to it, and that's not the character at all. And that's a character Scatman Crothers is a great actor. I really wish he would have got to play like a more fleshed out version of Dick Hallorann. But The Shining. What can you say about it? If you haven't read it, I would definitely recommend reading it. It's one of the scariest books that King's ever written, but it's also one of the most complex books he's ever written. The characters are richly detailed, and there is a lot to dig into. And it really makes you feel that isolation and the craziness. So, yeah, those are my top 5 winter set horror books. I really hope this blizzard lets up soon. All right, thank you guys. Have a good day. Bye.